Okay, so this week we actually want to address something pertaining to weapons. This is a knife defense drill that can hopefully everybody, even people who don't train, can try out with their family and friends because it uses something not so dangerous. It uses a water bottle, something that everybody has. Okay, so first off, these drills are strictly for a surprise attack. So if somebody on the street starts from here and brandishes a knife, then your purpose, your only thing is to figure out a way to get distance as far away as possible. Get some obstacles, put them in the path, take off your belt, start swinging it around. Whatever you can do to get out of the way. You're not going to try to fight a person with a knife while you're unarmed. Another situation is when someone has their knife on your person this way, or from behind, something like that. This is something we'll cover at another time, but this drill is not for that. This drill again is for a surprise attack. So for a surprise attack, typically the attacker is going to do 4 common movements if they're not trained. The first one's going to be a very common stab forward. The next one is a top down grip. I'm going to go over the top. And then the last 2 are either a slice this way or a slice coming back this way.
Okay, so everything you want to think, this can be applied to like hand-to-hand combat also, but especially in knife defense, you want to think big gross motor movements and closing that distance as fast as possible, right? The longer you're in this range, the more likely you are to get stabbed. And always keep in mind that if you do end up getting in a confrontation with somebody with a knife, you are probably going to get cut. There's just no way around it, but better be cut on your hands and arms versus your chest, face, body, neck, all that kind of stuff. So initially with any attack, the thing that you do is this comes up right in front of you, right? You have your guard up in front of you. So if the person attacks with whatever kind of attack material, gross motor movements are going to be this kind of thing, right? Just a big sweeping blocking motion like that, and then you're coming over the cross, so here, over the top, right? So notice that I'm not just standing here and trying to block that way or anything like that. I'm going to actually shift my body this way and then come back over. And pretty much every variation is going to be something very similar to that, right? So even if you make a mistake and you come with this hand, well, same thing then, you drive all the way through, come up over, the thing to remember is always keep driving forward onto your opponent. Once you make contact with your opponent, don't let go until you know that this has been taken care of. So even if it comes, he does that again, and if he drives through and I fall on it or something like that, then you keep this grip on here and you don't let go until this thing is gone, right? All right, so even from over the top, it's going to be kind of pretty much the same motion, right? Comes over the top. I'm coming this way and then crossing back over like that, you know. And if you don't end up crossing it over here, you have everything to fall onto that person, right? So remain attached after if you screw that up, remain attached to the person, you know. Always be aware of where that knife is coming from. The last ones are from the side. So from the sides, if it comes from the side, you want this as much as possible, right? So you want to burrow into that person as hard as you can, as fast as you can, and you want to drive. You can drive straight down is really what you want to do, and bury their head into the floor. That's really your objective, right? So coming from there, throwing your body, I'm putting my whole body into it, and then I'm just gonna fall right on top of that. I'm not gonna try to pull it or whatever. I'm gonna all the way and crank up on his arm as hard as I can, rip this out, you know, whatever it takes.
So some other options, if someone goes in for a straight stab, I can put this little shield here. But notice how I don't want to be in this middle range. I want to make sure I pin his forearm to his thigh. Because if I don't, he starts stabbing from here, he could pull back and go over the top as well. So I lose that connection. So once you commit to something like this, I need to pin his arm to his thigh so he can't pull back. And if he does pull back, I follow him. That way there's no way he can stab me. And what do I do from here? I don't worry about the knife anymore. I go for the computer. Like our sensei always said, destroy what's processing, and that's going to be his face until the situation is neutralized. So now that you guys have this primer, we're going to go for the actual drill that you can try out with your friends and your family. Since it's with a water bottle, it's not going to hurt as much. You can even try it on this side, but you'll know you'll get hit because it makes that sound, right? So the person defending is going to close their eyes. And they have three options. Either I go in for the stab and I do this little swing motion. That's one. I go over the top and they do the same thing. That's two. Or I throw a slice. That's three. But since he's still closing his eyes, he doesn't know what's going to happen. So I either stab, I go over the top, or I slice. I only have three options for myself, and he only has three options to worry about. When he's going to open his eyes is when I yell, or in karate is karakiai. And that's kind of his indicator to open his eyes, and then he's going to see this swinging at him in one of those three. So we're going to try this out. His eyes closed, and I'm going to kiai, and one of the three is going to happen. Hai. Hai. Notice how everything's very short. It breaks my arm on the way down. There's no excessive movement here. This is as real as it gets, and it's very safe. Hi. So that was the drill, and you can see the way Aaron's breathing. It gets your heart pumping, even though it's just like a water bottle, right? But it helps train your reaction, and you go as fast or as slow as you want to, progressive forward to 100%. Wear some pads if you need to. But it's just an easy and a cheap way to drill knife defenses because we don't know what's going to happen nowadays, right? So the last drill we want to show you is this. This is like if everything goes out the window and you see a knife there and you put both your wrists onto it, because it might happen, you might not have drilled the other things enough, but maybe you do this and you catches it with both hands. A lot of people say this is how you should defend, but it's actually very scary to do. If I have tension forward and he lets go of one hand to try to do something, I'm going to be able to stab him. He lets go of the other hand, I'm going to be able to stab him. Because it's my body weight against that one arm. So there's a lot of things that that's going to be very scary to do, and a lot of things you have to figure out on your own. But one key thing is to get your body offline. And you might have to do that with both hands still on. So as I'm pushing in, he's just going to swivel off to the side. And then he can even let go now because my knife is going this way, right? So maybe he's trying to go for that picture. Maybe he's trying to do something completely opposite, but we're gonna start from here. And this is where the drill starts. I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1, and all I'm gonna do is try to point this to his stomach, and he's gonna do whatever he can to get out of it. 3, 2, 1. Now, he's going to do the same thing to me, and halfway through, he'll decide when to switch hands, and you're going to have to do the exact same thing, figure it out. So, we're here. 3, 2, 1. So you guys notice we kind of combined the first and the second drill. The second one, we're having tension here. He switched hands, so I noticed the knife is coming around, so I had to do something from the first drill. So that's kind of a way to drill 2 knife defenses and then combine them both at the end.